Hey everyone! It's been a while. My name is Sam Spears. This is the Average is Average podcast. How are my friends doing? Hi friends. I've kind of thought about this for a long time. Not really. I'm like, why do I make this podcast? To hear myself talk a little bit. Am I a self-centered little piece of crap? A little bit. But I've kind of realized, you know what? I can talk about my shit so you can forget about your shit for like 30 minutes. You can turn your brain off and listen to somebody else's whines and worries and kind of forget about your own. Is that good? Is that good? Is that a good reason to listen to this podcast? I don't know. It's been a long time. It's been like 3 months since I've made anything. I have bangs now. And I was going for, sexiness. I was going for Jacob Elordi. I was going for heartthrob. I've been called Shaggy from Scooby-Doo like 5 or 6 times since I've got this haircut. And not once have I been called Jacob Elordi. So, a little bit peeved about that. We're just going to dive right in. So, like I said before, all your worries, all the shit in your life, don't worry about it for 30 minutes. And just listen to your old pal Sammy. Listen to your old pal Sammy just word vomit everywhere. And you can lap it up. You can lap up my word vomit from the floor. Do I have any water in this water bottle? I get fidgety. A little bit. Okay, so let's see. Let's get straight into business. Water bottle. Get out of frame. Sorry, is technical difficulties here. Speaking of Shaggy, people say I look like Shaggy, and I don't think they're talking like, sexy Shaggy. I think they're talking like goofy. And you know what? Fine. I'm gonna relate this back to Shaggy. Let me talk. I need to get into I found out with this podcasting stuff, it's like a rhythm thing, and it takes me maybe like 10 minutes to kind of get into the swing of things, especially since I'm very inconsistent. It's shaking off this rust of not talking to nobody for 30 minutes. So if you're like disinterested, skip like 10 minutes into this and it'll probably be a lot more flowy, a lot more, TMJ. Clicking of the jaw. When you open your jaw wide, it clicks. I have had that for a very, very long time. My story has kind of been like, me and my older brother Julian got into a fight. He punched me in the face, and my jaw has forever since clicked. This was when we were maybe 8 or 7 years old. I don't know if that's the reason why my jaw clicks. I mean, he punched me in the face, but, that's just my story. So, my story is not your costume? Is that it? No. The leg. I sit like this, and I'm wondering if it's kind of fucked up my hip, because when I sit normal, it doesn't feel good, so I kind of always need my little leg to be out. TMJ. One morning, clicking for years, no pain, no uncomfortability, just annoyance. One day, it hurt a little bit, and then one day it hurt a little bit worse, and then opening my mouth caused an unbelievable amount of pain. Like, that was as far as I could go. And then past that, it felt like the bones were scraping against each other in my jaw. What is this, maxillary? Is that it? I don't know. So much pain. And I looked it up and it was like, go to the doctor. And I was like, what do I do if I don't want to go to the doctor? No money. And they're like, ice it and heat it and take ibuprofen and don't stretch it out. Because I was like, oh my God, am I going to cause permanent damage? Because that's what it feels like. It feels like bones scraping against each other. Ow! That hurts. A couple days go by and it gets worse. And the pain becomes insurmountable? Is that a correct word to use? Maybe. Yeah, it hurt terribly. So I went to the, I called up, I work at a hospital now. Oh my God. I don't think we've talked since I've started my job at a hospital. We can talk about that. But I work at a hospital now, and I work closely with nurses. And I talked to one of the nurses, and she used to work at some like not facial, but like jaw surgery. They did like facelifts and shit. So it was kind of like a what do you call it? Looks maxing. No. Cosmetic. It was purely mostly cosmetic, but they also did TMJ stuff. And treatment for that is like a shot of Botox right in your jaw. And I called them. I'm like, hey, can I get that? They're like, yeah, it's going to be $700 because insurance doesn't cover Botox because it's usually used for cosmetics. And I was like, boom, that's what I did. I was like, that's not true. I was like, all right, understandable. I don't think I'm going to be completing that, but thank you very much for your time and have a great day. Yeah, so that's what happened. Pain. Eventually I was like, okay, I got to go to the emergency room. I looked up on Google, live right next to VCU, and it was like student dentist emergency room for dentists. And I was like, okay, I'll go there. And they basically were like, yeah, it's just muscles that are tight. You can stretch them. That's not going to cause permanent damage. We're not going to give you any drugs. We're not going to give you a shot of Botox because, come back in 2 weeks if it's still bad. And I was like, half of me was like, great, it's not completely serious. The other half of me was like, I cannot believe I went into the fucking emergency room because of a nothing burger. Yeah. But relating back to Shaggy, like I said I would maybe 5 minutes ago, I was about to clock in for my shift at my job at Starbucks, and I was like, what's around here for food? And I go to this one restaurant, and I'm not thinking about my jaw pain because it wasn't hurting too terribly, just being calm. Also, I was terrified because, I do this. I talk for fucking 45 minutes straight, and I talk in my day-to-day life, and I'm loud, and, I feel like that's kind of the only trait that I have, I'm tall, and I talk. And, that's all I got. I'm not very smart. There's just, I think me talking is, a trait that I hold near and dear, because I love talking to people. So I was, kind of fucking terrified. Pardon my language and my burp. Oh, God. But I was terrified that I was going to, lose my ability to speak, or I had, mouth cancer or something. But they did an x-ray at the VCU place. They said no mouth cancer, so that's, a huge plus. I don't know where I was. Oh, Shaggy. Go to this restaurant, and I order a club sandwich, not thinking at all. The club sandwich is, I thought just a bunch of stuff, but it's 3 pieces of bread. So a triple-decker, or double-decker, if you will. Triple-decker. 3 slices of bread. And it was a Scooby-fucking-Doo size sandwich, a comically large sandwich. So comically large, and my mouth could open so comically small. And I was, nibbling a fucking wiener dog on this sandwich. And it hurt so bad, because the bread was, very toasted. So I couldn't just smush it down. It was, toasted. And it was delicious, but it hurt so bad. So that's my story about TMJ and Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, and how I kind of embodied him kind of a little bit. This is TV Battle Stations. This is a t-shirt from this band that plays here in Richmond. I am a big fan. I'm a big fan of them. I got a buddy who plays with them named Steven, and shout out to you, Steven, if you're watching this. Hi, Steven. But one day he was come watch my show, we'll play, and then he introduced me to this band, and they're incredibly cool 25-year-olds who are just very talented musicians. And I'm sitting at the dinner table with all of them making small talk, and I'm trying to hold my own in this conversation, and they're all incredibly nice and cool and thoughtful and all very talented musicians. And I, as you can see here, I have a couple guitar. Can you see this? Let's see. Can you see the guitars in the back? Yes, you can. A couple guitars right back here. I've never felt more of a fucking poser in my life. Oh, I don't know. These guys are kind of hopefully friendships blossoming. But man, they are just, and I write songs, and I tinker Who is this? Don't send me notifications while I'm working. God, working. This is the life of a YouTuber. But no, I mean, it's just like talking to these people. Man, I don't know. Obviously, comparison is a thief of joy and all that bullshit. But I want to be like, yeah, let's, like, I can't talk shop with them. Stop sending me notifications. That is frustrating. So yeah, I feel like a poser, but I try to talk, like, yes, I know the difference between a Stratocaster and a Telecaster. One looks cool and one also looks cool. Like, I don't know. It was just until, like, a few weeks ago I knew how to, like, restring a guitar. So it's like, I don't know. Obviously, you can be friends with people who have different interests than you, but these dudes and dudettes kind of live and breathe this music shit. And I'm a music fan. I love music. So, I don't know. But they're great. So, check out TV Battle Stations. Their song Precious is my favorite song. It's called Precious. Damn, dude, they are really fucking good. Just thinking about it. And they're like I said, just fucking cool, It's like sometimes you meet people in bands and they're just like kind of all, assholes. They're like, I'm better than you. But these guys are just like so sweet. So, shout out to TV Battle Stations. Speaking of music, I've been going through a Beatles phase lately. Man, so my dad used to play the Beatles pretty much, not exclusively, but he played, like, out of, like, all the music he played like 75% Beatles, I'd say, from, like, ages 0 to, like, 6 or 7. So I know, like, most of their songs, and I was, like, a fan back in the day, but, like, I just had, like, I don't know what it was, but I just kind of had, like, a resurgence, is that the word? I don't know. Sorry if you can hear my loud-ass fucking HVAC. This apartment is just silly. Sorry if I've ever caused you any harm, or if I've ever done anything. If you hate me, I'm sorry for everything. I'm sorry for my HVAC. I'm sorry for my fucking acne. I'm sorry for this shitty mic. I'm just sorry. So yeah, this is my apology video. But no, the Beatles are just hot take. The Beatles are great. And if you say the Beatles suck, you're being a contrarian. Full stop. Like, they are, I think, without a doubt, the greatest band of all time. And I tried to rank their albums. I'm stuffed up in my nose, so forgive me if that comes through. Sorry. But I tried to rank their albums the other day, and, like, obviously, like, in my opinion, like, the first couple were, like, good, but not, like, anything to write home about. But, like, their last 5 or 6, like, A Hard Day's Night, like, putting them against each other, I'm just like, because I listened to Rubber Soul, I listened to it all the way through, and I was like, this is the best Beatles album of all time, easily. And then as soon as I finished Rubber Soul, I listened to Revolver, and I was like, fuck, maybe I was wrong. Eleanor Rigby? I mean, come on. Like, the strings, I was just talking to somebody, like, the string section. There's, like, 8 or, like, 6 string instruments, like, 2 cellos, and I'm like, man, so beautiful. So I listened to that. I was like, no, this one's my favorite. And then I listened to, like, Abbey Road, and I was like, no, this one's my favorite. And then I listened to the White Album, and I'm like, okay, the White Album. And this is what I think now, currently, the White Album, I think, is my favorite Beatles album. And it used to be when I was younger, and I think it still is now. Like, Rocky Raccoon, Martha My Dear, Obla-Di Obla-Da, Honey Pie, Helter Skelter on there too. I mean, it's just, I love all of those. Like, Rocky Raccoon is so, I don't know, I just love that one. And, like, I mean, I watched, like, a fucking video essay about this, because, forming my own opinions, you know what? No more negativity. Sorry, Sam. Sorry for being an asshole to yourself. I was watching the video essay, and it's like, I mean, okay, video essay, sorry. The songs are not, like, very cohesive, right? There are a bunch of different ones. Dear Prudence, come on. Holy shit. all the songs, and there's so many songs on the White Album, and they're all so very different from each other, and I love that. I mean, The Long and Winding Road, Two of Us, those are on Let It Be, I think. Those are probably my two favorite Beatles songs right now. I've been kind of depressed. I've been listening to those sad songs. Speaking of depression, what didn't help was that movie Wuthering Heights. Holy shit. I'm kind of blazing through all the topics that I had. I've written out topics today because I'm rusty and I can't just do it free-handed. Maybe I could, but I wanted to make it a little bit more episodic, a little bit more, you know what I'm talking about. Wuthering Heights. I think I've talked about Saltburn and how I didn't think it was that good. I thought it was fine. I thought it was shocking, and that was it. I thought Barry Keoghan's performance was fine. Stop sending me notifications, please. My biggest qualm with Saltburn is like how they posed it as this. Saltburn spoilers ahead. Skip 30 seconds if you don't want to hear them. They posed it as this big fucking twist that Barry Keoghan is like the bad guy and he's crazy. And it's like, we've known he's a fucking crazy weirdo since the fucking first frame of this stupid movie. Come on. Are we for real? So it's like, ooh, twist. It's a twist. It's not a twist. Everyone saw it coming. Yes, it's shocking. Yes, Jacob Elordi delivers a great performance. Yes, the first 30 minutes of the movie are just I don't know. I love it. It's great because it's touching. It's oh, Jacob Elordi and this nerd. Jacob Elordi's so cool, and he's taking this nerd under his wing. Sweet. Touches my heart. The vibe of the movie, the soundtrack, the color grading, the cinematography, the way it looks, the way the actors are, the vibe, how cool everyone's so cool. Great. Story, just... I mean, it's so fucking duh, but story's everything. It's like a fucking Casey Neistat quote. Story is everything, obviously. And if it doesn't have that, it's just not for me. Wuthering Heights, directed by the same person as Saltburn. Man, I loved it. And I haven't read the book, and I know everyone who says it's nothing like the book and it sucks. Man, who fucking cares? It's Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi. And it's I don't know. I think it's funny that Margot Robbie was an executive. I think she was an executive producer, a producer on this, and she was I don't know. I don't know if she made the call to be I want to be smooching on Jacob Elordi for the duration of this movie. But in my head, that's kind of funny. I'm if I was Margot Robbie, it'd be let's pick the Hollywood heartthrob. I'm gonna produce a movie. It's just imagine if I did that. It's I'm gonna produce a movie and pick the most beautiful woman to play my love interest in the movie, and then kiss her, and then drama comes out that I'm falling in love with her. Come on, that's funny. Wuthering Heights, though. I mean, soundtrack, that Charlie XCX shit, I fuck with it. My God, the electronic shit. Talked to my Uncle John about it. He was I loved it. I'm I loved it. I cried 5 fucking times, and it made me depressed for the next 3 days. Yeah, it did. Because obviously, you pick and choose things that you relate to in your own life, and it's sad and heartbreaking. But I mean, it's if a movie can make you cry, man, that's a great movie. Full stop, I think. It's if a movie can make you feel an emotion, because I've watched so many movies and felt emotionless. Nothing. Walked out of the movie theater The Long Walk. Oh my God, I've talked about this for a millennia. I walked out of that movie not feeling a thing other than disdain and anger, because I felt I wasted my time. And it's Marty Supreme. It's that movie, I think, was great. People hate it because they're the main character is not likable. It's another thing that I don't really like. I think if you don't like the main character, I don't know. You know what? I'm not going to get into all the Marty Supreme shit because it's I feel pretty strongly about it. And I'm man, he wasn't the most likable, but then you did root for him, and it's that's the fun of it all. Rooting for someone who's not good, morally ambiguous character, that's my shit right there. Anti-hero, right? Catwoman, Deadpool, Batman sometimes. I don't know. Choose your own adventure. Do you want to stay on the topic of movies, or you know what? We'll make movies kind of stretch because I am passionate about that. I'll tell you about my new job since I don't think I've talked to you about it yet. So I'm a patient care, and you know what? It's like I work at a hospital and I treat patients and stuff, and it's like I don't know how much of this I should probably say on here. But I'm not going to say their names. You know what? It's like I hear doctors and shit talk about their patients and shit. You don't say their name. I think it's fine. Yeah, dude, my life is like kind of fucking crazy. I like feel like I just like stumbled into this job and I didn't have any experience and instantly I was kind of thrown into the wolves. And I'm like wiping butts, helping people, consoling people when they're crying. And I've kind of leaned into this role and like there are now aspirations, you know? I'm like, do I want to become a nurse? Do I want to become a nurse practitioner? Do I want to become a PA? How foreign is that for me, man? I have like never thought about a stable career in my fucking life. I've always wanted to be a musician, an actor, a songwriter, a director, a comedian. Those things are still very prevalent in my life. Spoiler alert. But this is kind of like the first normal career that I've ever even considered. And people think I'm good at my fucking job, which is also kind of foreign to me. People believe in me, which is fun and awesome. So I'm just kind of stroking my own fucking ego here. Forgive me. But I deserve to pat myself on the back a little bit. So I did, and I will continue to do that in the future. But my day-to-day life at the hospital is kind of insane. I work at a burn and wound unit, and, you know, I clean people up. Like, people poop on themselves a lot because people aren't mobile. Deal with people who have MS, deal with people who are paraplegics. I deal with people who, you know, can't move. I deal with people who are like 95 years old who are like just don't have any muscles in their body. Deal with people who are 700 pounds. I deal with people that are 75 pounds. Man, my life, my like experience, the way I look at the world is kind of like blossomed. Or just kind of expand, maybe not blossom because that sounds like a positive connotation. It's just like fucking exploded, I think. Like, the things that I've seen. And so, story time. I mean, people, when they're hurt, they kind of open up to you. And I have open ears and I love to listen to people. And, you know, so many people have opened up to me, talked to me about, you know, their best life achievements and their biggest regrets. And the way I like to describe my job is like the highest of highs, you know, seeing the patient who has had a gunshot wound to the head walk again. Hanging out in a pediatric emergency room playing Uno with these kids who don't have a home, who've gotten kicked out of the group home, who don't have parents. Parents abandoned them. Seeing the joy on their faces, you know, playing Uno with these kids. Man, that's the fucking best. And then the lowest of lows, you know, a patient that you've developed a rapport with has passed away. Or someone that you've kind of developed a rapport with is suffering, is in pain. Or a patient you've developed a rapport with keeps asking you to wipe his fucking butt. And he's clean, and he keeps asking you to wipe his butt. It's like, are you getting something? What the fuck? Yeah, that happened to me. It's like, wipe his butt a couple times. He's like, you're good, man. He's like, one more just for safety. I'm like, you know what? I wipe extra on myself. You know, I hear a little. What? What? Highest of highs, a low. That's a low. That's a low. That's a low. I've seen, you know, I've never seen someone not alive before. I started this job. Seen that a bunch of times now. Perform CPR on people. And I'm just like, dude, I just like spawned in here. Like I spawned in this hospital. Like I worked at Starbucks before. And I do stand-up comedy sometimes. I gotta stop saying that to people. I'm like, what do you do? What do you like to do? I'm like, I like to do stand-up comedy. I haven't done a stand-up comedy show in like almost a year. And I feel like a fraud. I moved to this city to do stand-up comedy. And I've been so goddamn depressed that I haven't fucking done any. I did one open mic and I bombed. And bombing when you're depressed just kind of really... It's like I did all this and it's like, well, I mean, I'm living in a new city and I'm doing new things and I'm like working in healthcare, which is like new, but like I moved here to like do artsy fartsy shit. And that's what I tell people when they ask me, why did I move to Richmond? And I guess things unfolded the way they were supposed to go, I guess, if you want to get fucking spiritual with it. Because that's the only way you can look at it, things happen the way they're supposed to. Because if you don't look at that in that way, then you're going to be upset about everything for the rest of your life. Why did this happen to me? Why did this happen to me? And I am upset, and I fall into that thought pattern a lot because I am upset with a lot of the things that are going on. But, if I lie to myself and say that maybe it's happening for a reason, then maybe I won't be so sad anymore. But man, sometimes life just fucking sucks. Sorry. That was, sorry. Forgive me. I didn't mean to get all doomer on you guys. Sorry. But it is cool that, like, I moved here for something else, and then something else kind of came of it, and that's... Am I manspreading? I can't see myself. Have I been manspreading? Dang it! I've been manspreading. Sorry. I look cozy. I know I look cozy. On this Temu couch my father got for me. Dad, I love you. Thank you. I know you don't like these videos, Dad, because it's just me talking. So forgive me. Forgive me. Forgive me, Lord. But yeah, it's like, it's cool that something came of it when I thought it was going to be nothing, And it's kind of like its own ecosystem. It's fucking crazy. The way people ask, it's like, how do you kind of decompress? How do you, after seeing someone pass away, after, working in the pediatric emergency department, working in the burn and wound unit, how do you come home? And it's like, I think it's this kind of, and I'm talking out of my ass a little bit here because I've only worked there for like 4 or 5 months. I really don't know much. But what I do know is, like, I see doctors and I see nurses and I see me and I see patient care technicians. That's what I do. And, like, everybody has kind of a different level of empathy. And, you can either go the route of having no empathy, just kind of not letting any of the shit phase you, It's like seeing all these terrible things, but it's like, that's just what I do. Kind of dehumanizing the patient a little bit in order for you to survive yourself emotionally. I struggle. I can't do that. But I've seen some doctors who are just kind of, and it's not necessarily that they're cold, but, they're curt. It's like, this is what's wrong with you. And it's like, I think it definitely, some patients appreciate that. Because I know some patients, the terminal patients, people are talking, I'm like, oh. And I've heard stories of, like, doctors going in there, 10 doctors, like, I'm so sorry, hey. And the patient's like, I'm sick of everybody fucking feeling sorry for me. And then, the doctor who goes in there and is like, hey, you probably have this much time, and this is what it looks like, and I'm sorry, it sucks. Like, the real one, like, that's cool. They I don't know. I'm, again, talking out of my ass. And then the other end of the spectrum, and I'm not saying that doctor has no empathy. It's just like, I don't know, difference in tone. Tone is everything. The way you say things is important, obviously. Some people don't know that, though. Man, I wish everyone knew that. It really matters how you say shit. Because my feelings are fucking sensitive, and I get them hurt all the time because of the way people say shit. On the other end of the spectrum, having too much empathy, crying after every fucking patient you treat, caring, you're gonna give the level of care top tier because you care, but then it's like your emotional battery's done. That's no empathy. This is all empathy. I'm pretty much like there, because I feel it, and I've cried a couple times. in my life because I'm a boy. Boys don't really cry. No, I've cried a couple times, like after my shift, during my shift. But like, someone's got to do it. Someone's got to wipe the butts. And I feel like I've been feeling guilty. I've been feeling like a shitty person, and this kind of helps alleviate a little bit of the guilt. I've been feeling like I'm a terrible fucking person a lot lately because have been made some poor decisions and have been an asshole. And I know, I'm conscious of it, and I feel this is not like pity party for Sammy, because I fucking kind of deserve all of it. But working at a hospital, kind of doing grunt work, wiping people up, putting people on bedpans, helping people walk to the bathroom, them not making it, them pooping on the floor, cleaning that up, then getting them back into their bed, them pooping in the bed, then them changing the sheets, and then they poop again in the sheets, and then you have to change the sheets again, and then they poop for a third time, or I'm cleaning up a GI bleed, or I'm helping someone give an enema, or, it's like all these things where it's like, this briefly sucks. And it kind of makes me feel like, what, maybe I'm not so fucking evil if I can do this. But I kind of want to make a movie about that, where it's like, someone is like a shittier than me, and they like do all these things, like work in like a soup kitchen to like make themselves feel better. I think that's like a funny idea. So like on paper they're a great person, but like in reality they're kind of shitty. So there's that for the movie idea, and there's that for my experience at the hospital. Hopefully you got lost in that world a little bit, took your mind off of some of your own things that you got going on. Hi to all my friends, hi to all my loved ones. I'm not going to end it there, though. Psych, you thought. We got a lot more things to talk about. That's actually not very true. Yeah, I've talked about a lot of the things that I've written down. Talk about, for like 30 seconds, Dan Hurley. I don't watch really much college basketball at all. UVA women's team. There's this girl on the UVA women's team named Olivia McGee. And she went to a high school kind of close to mine, and I was doing commentary, color commentator for the Albemarle women's basketball game. And, it's me and I think Malachi Keys. Shout out to Malachi Keys. And, we're talking with our microphones to the stream of whoever's watching the Albemarle versus Louisa basketball game. And this girl named Olivia McGee was just fucking killing Albemarle. Fucking killing them. She looked like fucking Kyrie Irving out there. Just like the way she was dribbling, the way she was passing, it like looked like pro level shit against, and it's like she kind of really separated herself from, all the players, not only Albemarle because she's whooping on them, but all of her teammates too. She's like really rising above, and I'm just sitting there like, oh my god, as a color commentator, which is like not what you're supposed to do. You kind of have to reserve that for the cool shit that happens, but everything she was doing was cool shit, so I lost my voice. She plays for the UVA women's basketball team, and I don't think she gets very much playing time, and I don't know why. Incredible basketball performer. But also shout out to the women's team for going far, making history. That was dope. But I don't, I see clips. I don't watch full games of college basketball anymore. On the men's side, I don't watch it. But I saw, the game winner against Duke, the UConn team, and Dan Hurley. Oh my God. I kind of love him. He got in the fucking face of a referee after the shot. Yeah, what's good? Yeah. Man, that level of passion, so fucking funny. Getting into the face of, and everyone's talking about this should have been a technical. This should have been this. It's they won that fucking game. Yeah, that's awesome. And also it's against Duke. Everybody hates Duke. That's awesome. That's great. Of course, yes, happy to beat Duke. Why, everyone's, not talking in these fucking hyperboles. Everyone's outraged. these big attention-grabbing sentences. But people are pissed. They're like, he should have got a tech. It's against Duke. Fuck you. Everyone hates Duke. I actually don't hate Duke very much. I don't hate really anything or anybody. Like, when R.J. Barrett and, Zion were playing, I was like, and Cam Reddish? I almost forgot his name. Because he's almost fallen into, what is that word that starts with an I that means nobody cares about you anymore? Irrelevancy. He's almost fallen into irrelevancy. But man, again, like with Olivia McGee, Cam Reddish is a star. Incredibly skilled basketball. And sorry, you guys don't care about this. My general audience doesn't care about basketball. But I'm going to word vomit, lap it up for me. Lap it up for me just for a little bit, okay? Cam Reddish, incredible. He's a star. He doesn't get any playing time. I don't even know if he's in the league anymore. I think he plays overseas. So skilled. He should have been a star. Same thing with R.J. Barrett. He does get playing time. But I think he's a star as well. Dan Hurley, love the guy. What else do I have to say about that? I mean, nothing else. There's a YMCA close to me. They've been doing renovations on their basketball gym, their swimming pool, and their sauna. Stop sending me notifications. They've been doing renovations ever since I moved in 8-9 months ago. They said it was going to be complete by the end of the year. By the beginning of the new year. It's April. It's April 1st. Happy April fucking Fools, everybody. Fucking April fucking Fools, man. It's still not done yet. Stop sending me notifications. It's not done yet. And I call. I'm like, hey guys, can you please complete it? I don't say that. I'm like, when is it going to be done? They're like, we don't know. Private contractor, dragging their feet. I'm like, I'll go in there and sweep the fucking floor. I'll go in there and fucking install the fucking floorboards. I don't care. I yearn for basketball. It's like one of the things that, kind of gets me into the flow state of things. Makes me forget about all the fucking terrible things in my life. Which is great, I think everybody needs that kind of escape. But, playing basketball kind of does it for me. I spent a very large portion of my life working on becoming good at basketball, which is silly because it's a stupid little game, but I love it, and I'm pretty good at it, and I love playing. Even when I play poorly, it's, running and breaking a sweat, and it's like working out's like therapy for me. I don't hate when people say that because I get it, because it kind of is. I've kind of really wanted to make a TikTok skit of that though. Working out is therapy for me. And then someone bench pressing while talking to an old man therapist, an old, comically old man who's a therapist, bench pressing, and then saying some very heinous shit that you would only tell to your therapist. Some heinous shit. Because I think that would be funny. Yeah. When it's how I feel about stand-up comedy right now. I've been watching a lot of it, consuming a lot of it, enjoying a lot of it. When you're something feels too far gone, it's I know it's not. I know you can just get back out there and fail and keep failing and then until you succeed. And it's all about starting. But, it's when you have a homework assignment or an essay, it's 1 million pages and you haven't started and it's due tomorrow. It's well, why would I start it? What's the point? I know I'm not going to do well. What's the point? This what's the point mentality, man, has been kind of fucking plaguing me for a while. What's the point of it? What's the point of this? What's the point of it? You know what? Oh, pity party. Wham, wham, boo, boo, baby. I don't want to be a wham, wham, boo, boo, baby anymore. I'm going to have another little sibling soon, which is awesome. Lore drop. Let's see what else. Here's something kind of interesting. I have a couple friends who are in the content creation game, and I'm somewhat in the content creation game, right? I make content like I'm making here, but when I talk to some of these people, it's and I see the content, and it's you need a hook for your short form content. You need to make short form content. You need to post consistently. You need to do this in order to succeed online. And it's formulaic, It's like Mr. Beast, Anybody can become famous. I just farted. I don't know am I farting right now? Sorry. Weird stuff is going on in my nether regions. No offense. But it's like anybody can go viral on YouTube. It's just about, the thing, like consistency, attention grabbing, watch duration, all these graphs and analytics and stats and stuff that I can nerd out over, because I've been in this game for, I'm not in the game, but I can respect the game, and I've been somewhat in the game. I've been somewhat adjacent to the game, but I've been in it, managing TikTok accounts with a bunch of followers and shit. It's like, and I can't really say that I've managed it really, but I worked on creating videos and content for stuff like that. I can see right through the shit though, and I can see when someone is being formulaic, when someone is like, those videos with like the AI generated subtitles, the podcast clips. It's like when someone is being formulaic, like Mr. Beast, or like, what I just said, the podcast clips with the AI generated, like, I can see that person is just trying to make, lots of views, lots of money. I see that it's formulaic, and it turns me off. Get the opposite of a boner. It like, I'm just like, why am I watching this? This person, maybe they even care about it, but like, the fact that they're going, it almost feels like, what am I looking for here? Like I said, formulaic, but like, not a low blow, but like a low blow. It's like, man, you gotta resort to this shit, and I feel like I'm in the minority here, because it's like, they do well. I said do. Happy April Fools. I said a shit joke. I like making these videos, and I know they're not formulaic, and I know they're not built to do well. It's just a guy talking on a couch about his own fucking life for 45 minutes. Of course that's not going to do well. Why would it? But I like it, and I know a few of my friends somewhat enjoy it. I like that. I like doing things, and it's like the fucking classic old YouTuber. It's like, you can't make videos if you want to make, you want to make money and make lots of views. You can't do that. You have to do something because you truly care about it. Yeah, that's true to a certain extent, but also, like, you can just generate AI content. You can just, like, pump out a bunch of fucking slop. Even if it's not AI. Just slop. And so many people eat that up, and I'm not saying that I'm smarter than everybody, but I can't do that shit. It's just, like, I know it when you're trying to be viral, and it makes it feel disingenuous. That's the word I'm looking for. It's like, this person wants to go viral. And it's like, what's the coolest thing to do? Is not to worry about being cool, not to give a shit. If you make videos and you don't give a shit, maybe those are the ones that but it's like, how many people are like that, where it's like they can see formulaic content and then they're turned off because it's like Mr. Beast. Why is he the most successful YouTuber? Is it because his audience is kids? Yes, to a certain extent. But like, I know a lot of adults who watch Mr. Beast, and they're like, he makes a good video, and it's entertaining. And it's like, yes, it is. I've watched a Mr. Beast video, and it was like entertaining. But again, man, it's just like, when I watch a video and a person's sentence is cut up to take away the dead space. I don't know how much you guys know. Some of you, I'm not trying to mansplain here, but I don't know how much you guys know about video editing. But like I said, you see that space between those words? In the editing room, you can just cut that out. I see that shit and I hear it. So when people don't have those natural pauses in between their words or their sentences, I'm just like, man, you're just fucking taking the soul out of this, and that kind of kills me. And that kind of feels like the soul, the pauses. It's like, you can delete the pauses because it's going to make the watch time and like this, and then the hook of the video and this, and it's like, you're taking away the soul. I was just talking to one of my patients, and he was like a famous music producer. Famous, I don't know his name, but he produced like jazz records, and he was big time. And he wasn't one of my patients. He was a friend of one of my patients. And he came in and we started talking about music production. And like I said before, when hanging out with my other musician friends, I felt like a fucking poser. But they were like, wow, this guy knows who Miles Davis and Herbie Hancock is. Let's talk to him. I like jazz a little bit. You know, Thelonious Monk. Let me just flex my jazz knowledge on you fuckers for a little bit. He was talking to me about how he produces songs now and how he uses AI. And obviously it's like anti-AI in the art space. Anti-AI pretty much every time. But, well, I mean, yeah, anti-AI for art, for sure. But it's like, he showed me the song and he was like, listen to this, how does this sound? And it was like, fine, you could almost not tell that it was AI, but there was no fucking soul, you know, there was nothing, no soul, it was a robot, you know? And he talking to me and he's like, think about how much money you can save, you know, I would have had to hire a trombone player, a trumpet player, a piano player, a bass player, so much money. This, I could do it for $7.99 a month, and I'm like, dude, yeah, but it's not going to be nearly as, like, I don't know, man. And it's like, how many people can tell, though, you know? How many people give a shit about that anymore? Me. I do. Have I been recording? Am I recording right now? Yes, I am. I've been recording for 46 minutes. How about that? I've had a lot to say today. Hopefully you guys can marinate on that one. Man-spreading once again. Check out that schlong. I shouldn't have said that. I don't want to... No, sorry. Sorry. Don't even worry about that. Let's see. Formulaic content. You know, I'll talk about some movies. To end it off. Wuthering Heights I saw in theaters. And I sobbed. I whimpered like a fucking baby. And it was great. It's so sad. I watched Little Miss Sunshine with my dad and my brother here in this apartment on this couch. I'm a huge fan of that movie. I'm a huge fan of, like, the arc of the movie and how, like, you know, at the beginning the dude wants to kill himself, and at the end he's like, family, I love my family. You know, there's so many different meanings, so many, like, more poetic, more poignant, more profound ways to put that. But it's like, man, everybody's so different, and then, you know, everybody loves each other. It's like, man, it's such a fucking heartwarming family movie, and it's so funny and great. And I know it's like, everybody loves Little Miss Sunshine, but I showed it to them, and I felt good, because I've been begging them to watch it for a long time, and they finally did. So, woohoo, shout at me. What other movies? Gus Van Sant. He's this director. He directed... My letterbox is my top 4. It's changed a lot because I want to seem less pretentious. No. I want to seem more pretentious. Sorry. And my top 4 was like, you know, Dead Poet Society, Good Will Hunting, and those 2 movies are like, everybody loves those movies. Everybody talks about those movies, and it's like, go fuck yourself, man. You want to, you know, in order to be a film bro, you got to be a little bit pretentious. So I changed up my top 4. But in all reality, Good Will Hunting is probably my favorite movie ever. Or Swingers, or Dead Poet Society. But Good Will Hunting is in my top 3, always. And Gus Van Sant directed that one. And I watched 2 more directed by him, I think. And if I'm wrong, come to my house and shoot me in the head. Kill me. I'm sorry if I'm wrong. But yeah, come and murder me if I'm wrong. I watched first Drugstore Cowboy. Man, that movie, great. So cool. So awesome. So, like, that's the thing about that movie is, like, there was a little bit of surreal, and it, like, really buttered my biscuit. I've never said that in my life. I don't know why I started now. The movie, you know, my qualms with Saltburn, it's like, it was all vibe and no story. I think Drugstore Cowboy, what is this, Lint? I think Drugstore Cowboy is like, all vibes, all story, and it works. I love it when it works. Matt Dillon. Probably, like, the coolest. Matt Dillon in Drugstore Cowboy is, like, probably the coolest anybody's ever been in anything ever. My God. So fucking cool. I wish I was Matt Dillon. Like, desperately. What a fucking cool dude. And it's about, you know, drug addicts who are robbers, and they rob drugstores. You know, drugs are expensive, especially the heavy-duty ones like Quaaludes and Percocet and what other one? Dilaudid, lots of money. So they do that, and then they sell it, but they end up using a lot of it. It's a great movie. And then My Own Private Idaho, also directed by Gus Van Sant. Lots of mucus, lots of, not My Own Private Idaho, me. I think Gus Van Sant, you know what, it's like, I don't know who my favorite director is. You know what, it's like, I try to be pretentious, but I just, at the end of the day, I just like movies, you know? We talk about the writing and the directing and who's my favorite director and who's my favorite screenwriter and my favorite actor and, like, you know, the theme and the top 4 of Letterboxd and what speaks to you and the art, and it's like, oh man, I just like movies, and I don't know if I'm too stupid to not comprehend a lot of the things, or I don't give a shit. Probably too stupid, but like, it's like, man, I like movies. And Gus Van Sant has made a bunch that I really enjoy. And My Own Private Idaho is definitely one of them. Like, how stylized it is. The scene, like, the title cards, the font. And I can nerd out about, you know, the style. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm a nerd. Maybe I'm amazed. Maybe I'm amazed the way I love you. Yeah, man, My Own Private Idaho. It's about a couple of male prostitutes, and it's River Phoenix and Keanu Reeves. That should alone be like, oh my god, I want to watch it. But it's so fucking good, and it's, I guess, loosely based on some Shakespeare play. Henry VIII, Henry V, Henry IV, Henry VI. I don't know Shakespeare. That's another problem I have with myself. I'm not well read. I don't know Shakespeare. I don't know shit. But it's loosely based on Shakespeare, which makes me feel smart when I watch it. Don't let that turn you off if you're not a Shakespeare dude or dudette or non-binary dude. It's just a good movie. And, like, the sex scenes are, like, cold and kind of sad. I mean, it's like, you know, prostitutes. It's like, you know, obviously you're not going to be in love with everyone you fuck. But the way they're shot. I mean, you're going to be like, Sam just loves gay porn. Sam loves gay porn. It's not that. Watch the movie. Watch the sex scenes. I'm not going to spoil how it's shot. I'm not going to spoil any of it. But it's just like, you feel, it's like, I don't know if this is happy. Because, you know, there's some happy sex scenes and some not so happy ones. And it's like, but they're all shot the same. And it's like, just great. And then, like, the surreal aspect of it. And there's, like, a scene where there's a bunch of magazines and, like, people on the covers. And then they start, like, that. I love movies that are, like, just a little bit surreal, just a little bit silly, a little bit absurd, just a little bit. You know, it's based in reality, but then occasionally weird shit starts happening. Like the flashback scenes and, like, the scene of the house falling and the title cards, the music, the being a road movie. My Own Private Idaho is in my Letterboxd top 4. Now. Part of which because it's pretentious and it's cool to like that movie. And River Phoenix is someone who has passed away, and, like, it's cool to like him because he's, like, a fucking star. Campfire scene of that movie, so sad. Great movie. So it's, like, pretentious, but it also is just a great movie. And Gus Van Sant. I mean, I guess he's just my fucking favorite by now. So check that shit out. Any other movies? Midnight Cowboy. My favorite song, Everybody's Talking about Harry Nilsson. That was made for Midnight Cowboy. I had not watched that movie. And I'd started it and I stopped it. But I eventually watched it. I watched it all the way through. Beautiful, sad, heartbreaking. Loved it. Watch Midnight Cowboy. Kind of pioneered something. Watch a video essay about it. Watch someone who actually knows what they're fucking talking about, talk about Midnight Cowboy, and you will be entertained. Watch it first, and then, watch a video essay afterwards. Last but not least, I live in Richmond now. Everyone knows that. I think. I went to the Bird Theater, which is like a historic theater, I guess. And I haven't been since I've moved here. And, there have been movies that have been played that I wanted to go see, but I couldn't because I was working. And then the days that I was off, it's like showing, the fucking Mario movie. And I'm like, I don't fucking want to watch the fucking Mario movie. But then the Return of the King, Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. Say that 10 times fast. I did that shit. Shout out to me. Lord of the Rings in the Bird Theater. And I guess the theater was built in the 1920s. You walk in and then you enter the theater and it's fucking huge and it's beautiful and the fucking architecture and it's like you're in a theater. Stop sending me Why is it sending me notifications on my Mac like I actually care? Send it to me on my phone. Dude, the architecture is beautiful. And then, I'm sitting down ready for the movie to start. All these movies, by the way, I've watched alone. Wah, Sammy. I feel like a little bit of a dickhead going to the theater alone because it's like I'm a lonely fuck. But also, it's like, dude, it's nice going to the movies alone sometimes too. That's the duality. Two wolves are inside of me. Shut the fuck up. Anyways, movie's about to start. And then some announcer's like, welcome to the Bird Theater. Exits are two in the rear. There's a skit about that. 2 in the rear. Who did that? It's either stand-up or SNL. 2 in the rear. Sexy. It's funny. No. How did I fucking forget? It's Whose Line Is It Anyway? And he's like, be sexy. And he's like, 2 exits. 2 in the front, 2 in the rear. Anyways, I think it's not Colin Mockery. It's Ryan Stiles. So fucking funny. Whose Line Is It Anyways? Also just, if you're in a bad mood, turn on Whose Line Is It Anyway compilation. All your worries will go away temporarily. Anyways, announcer. It's like, exits 2 in the rear. Please clean up after yourselves. And then he's like, please give a round of applause for our organ player. What? And so this dude starts playing organ and it you can't see him, and then it rises from the fucking front of the theater while he's playing, on a Psy, the guy who singing Gangnam Style, shot him up and he fucking started dancing. He was like that but slow because he was, playing an organ. But it's like the theatrics of it all. And I'm like, oh my god, the ticket was $9. And I got to see this dude play his organ. And then he started playing songs that I knew, and I think it was Somewhere Over the Rainbow or some love song, and I just started tearing up, and I'm like, this is so fucking beautiful. I've been so it's I've been kind of depressed but also kind of happy, and it's I think I've just been very emotional over the last 9 months of my life, and I kind of should I be saying that online? It's I cry. Wah. No, it's I don't know. You step outside and smell the fresh air, and it's a beautiful day, and it's kind of makes me emotional. Is that bad? I don't know. Anyways, Buddy starts playing his organ, and it's just fucking beautiful. And he plays for 15 minutes, and I'm getting a little antsy. I'm like, all right, when is this gonna end? Because I want to watch Lord of the Rings, and it's a 3-hour movie, and it's already 7:15, and I'm like, I gotta get home. But the other side, I'm like, this is beautiful. And this guy just comes before every movie and plays his organ. So sweet and so beautiful. And it's this old man. I just makes me cry. Movie starts. Watch Lord of the Rings, Return of the King in theaters. Dude. Ultimate. I'm just kind of paraphrasing what I wrote on Letterboxd. But it's the ultimate movie of friendship. Everybody's friends in that shit. And it's so sweet. Everybody's friends and everybody cares about each other. And come on, man. Fellowship of the Ring, Fellowship of Frodo and Sam. I thought they were gonna kiss. They got really close to doing it a bunch of times. I'm in Richmond, Virginia, where everybody's gay, and I was sitting in the theater, and everybody was they should kiss. And I was like, yeah, maybe they should. but low-key fuck Frodo for a little bit. And I know he was like, the ring kind of changed who he was. Anyways. So sweet the movie was. Yeah. The theater kind of really changes it. I want to read Project Hail Mary and watch that in the theaters. I don't know if I have really anything else to do. You know, I ate a bunch of chicken and vegetables, and I've been kind of burping that up periodically. I watched this video on Twitter of FouseyTube. I'm not going to say shout out to FouseyTube because, like, you know, obviously he's like a terrible person. This video pops up on my Twitter, and it's like, do this if you want to get in shape. And it's like FouseyTube. It's like you go to Whole Foods and it's like $35 for like a dinner. Did I just move the camera? Sorry, friends. It's like $35. You get a bunch of like protein and like 2 veggies. Feed you for 4 meals. Probably feed me for 2.5. Still expensive. But it's like I don't want to cook. So I might do that. Might go to the gym. It's 4:24. Showing a bunch of short films at the Bird Theater tonight. I might go to that, but I might not. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to work out, though, for probably 10 minutes and then go home. Listen, this has been a little bit of a longer one. I appreciate you sticking around if you're still here. I love you. I love you so much. To everyone who's watching this video. To all my new viewers. I don't think we have any new viewers. To all my longtime supporters. Shout out to you guys. I'm not going to say there will be more coming soon because I don't know if that's true, but maybe if you beg. Huh? Sorry, that was like needlessly kinky. No, if you want more, tell me and I'll make more. But yeah, this has been a longest episode of all time. So thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for listening. Once again, I'm Sam Spears. This is Average is Average. Have a good rest of your day.